business trip of the year every year, and I'm so sad to have missed it a couple years running now, but hopefully next year.
Yeah, for sure.
How you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Yeah,
It's finally summer here in Austin, Texas, so it's nice.
nice. Is it sweltering?
It is not cold. Yeah.
Love it. Well, it's great to see you. As Andrea had mentioned, we actually did. We have our own. Influential has their own monthly series that I host, and we were lucky enough to have Scott on with us a couple months ago. And last minute, they gave me this great opportunity, and love talking to you. So here we are.
Awesome.
All right. So before we dive into your current role, the marketing landscape, and the exciting things you've been doing at Torchys, I'd love to take a step back and talk about your previous roles, how those experiences have prepared you for this job. You've worked some really incredible brands across a variety of industries. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. Started right out of school, had a professor who said, you need to go work at an agency. You're not going to make much money, but the experience you gain in those first few years will be invaluable. And he was 100% right. So did the agency side. I always joke my first client was the International Guild of Professional Electrologists. So I know all about laser hair removal.
Wow.
And then got a chance to work on Popeye's chicken, and then M&M Mars across M&M's, the Snickers brand, and then did almost 12 years at Dunkin' Donuts. Sorry, just Dunkin'. And that was just such a great experience to work on such a brand that was kind of at the time uber regional and be a part of that brand going national and international. And then wanted to use some different muscles and kind of get out of the restaurant space for a bit. And so it was CMO for Dick's Sporting Goods for a while and really enjoyed it. I'm a huge sports fan and super passionate about sports and, can talk like sports equipment all day, but I really missed the restaurant industry and the pace that it worked at. And so this opportunity came along, which checked a lot of boxes. Something smaller, all the companies I've worked at, which were great experiences, but just really big companies. And so wanted to do something a little more entrepreneurial and to join a brand like Torchys, which is kind of fun, irreverent at that stage of growth as it was getting set to take the next stage was really something I'd always wanted to do in my career. And, Austin, Texas is not a bad place to live at all.
That is an awesome place. Big fan of every year I go to South by Southwest. So, and I missed that this year too. So
looking forward to that
next year. Yeah.
Our stores look forward to that coming back as well in Austin.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about like the size and scope of like how many stores do you have and what's a little bit about the foundational story of Torchy's Tacos?
Yeah, it's a great story. So we were founded almost 15 years ago in a food trailer in Austin, Texas, before food trailers and food trucks were the cool hip thing they are now. This was, born out of necessity. Our founder, Mike Ripka, is a classically trained chef, had several jobs leading big food service operations like at the World Bank, at some different Nike locations and MTV through what was then Host Marriott. He jokes that he served the final meals at Enron as Enron was collapsing there in Houston. And then, kind of got tired of the corporate gig and wanted to do something on his own. He had a buddy whose father had an old beat up barbecue trailer that they bought and restored it and put it in a just really bad location from a traffic standpoint. It was kind of all they could get. And so Mike had a red Vespa that he would ride around downtown Austin and the surrounding neighborhoods and literally go to stoplights and hand out tacos, chips and salsa to people while they're at their car. And people would take a bite and say, man, that's damn good. And so that became kind of the mantra of Torchy's, damn good. And fast forward now, almost 15 years later, it's our mission statement. It's just be damn good in everything we do, the way we treat our guests, the way we treat our team members, the way we treat one another. So, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that story, but now we're sitting at 90 restaurants in 10 states. This week we will add state 11, opening our first location in Tennessee, in Memphis, and just continuing to grow and looking to open store number 100 here in the Austin area later this year.
Wow. Is it primarily all Southwest?
Yeah, Southwest, a little bit into the Midwest. So we've opened in Indiana this
Mm-hmm.
year. We have a digital kitchen in Columbus, Ohio. So venturing up into the Midwest, and then, primarily Texas is obviously our hub. It's where the majority of our restaurants are, but we go Oklahoma, Colorado is a great market for us. We have 9 locations in the state of Colorado, and continuing to grow.
That's fantastic. Well, my question that's very self-serving is, are you going to bring one to LA anytime in the near future?
It'll be a minute, but we will get to California at some point. But
Yeah,
it
I could
is,
see lines wrapped around the block when you guys do.
yeah. One of the great things about the Torchy's brand is we feel like it works really well wherever we are, whether it's kind of downtown cities, like we have some locations in downtown Austin. We do really well in the suburbs, and we do really well in college towns. So the Lubbocks, the Norman, Oklahomas of the world. We joke that Torchy's may be the only concept that can have 2 locations in Lubbock, Texas, and they both do fairly well. We have one near the college and one in the suburban part of town. So we're a bit of a chameleon like that, where we can work really well depending on the space. So I think whether it's LA, Chicago, New York, I think when we get there in time, I feel like we'll do fairly well.
Yeah, Southern Californians love tacos. You'll be very
Yes.
welcomed here.
Yeah. Lot of taco competition in Southern California.
That's true.
But
Still taco competition.
yeah, but there's also, we've done pretty well in Texas and markets like San Antonio, which is truly authentic tacos. And for the Torchy's brand, we never say that we are 100% a Mexican concept. We serve tacos, just like we think about pizza isn't the Italian category in the whole. So we are built on these unique flavor combinations that Mike really developed. A lot of it when he was working at the World Bank, and they would say, okay, hey Mike, we've got the Argentinians and the Ethiopian contingents coming in for the World Bank for this week. What can you put together for these groups? And so we've focused on those unique flavor profiles and really carved out a positioning that we think is pretty unique, because we think the brand doesn't fit the labels of, say, clearly not a QSR, not even a fast casual. So we've created this positioning we call craft casual, which has 3 pillars. The first is we have the convenience and quality of fast casual. So if you want to get in and get out in a hurry, we can do that. If you got 15 minutes for lunch, we can do that. We also have the authenticity and creativity that you'd find in like a food truck or a food trailer. One of the things Mike set out was he wanted to elevate the street taco, because that's where you see some of the most unique flavor combinations. So we really focus on having those unique menu items. And then the third piece is just the energy and excitement of a bar and the craft nature like one would find in a bar. So everything at Torchy's is made to order, made from scratch. When you order, a Mr. Orange taco, which is blackened salmon, that salmon is blackened right then. It's not sitting there waiting for you to go down a line and slop it on a plate. We shuck our own corn. If you order a margarita, we squeeze our own lime. So everything is fresh, craft made, made from scratch. So kind of put all that together. We just think we have a pretty unique space in the industry, and there's others that are doing what we're doing, but we just don't feel like there's anyone who's doing what we're doing at this scale yet.
I feel like there's also like a very cool element about Torchy's tacos. I feel like when you go to Texas, it's sort of like when somebody comes here to California, you got to go to an In-N-Out, you got to go to a Torchy's when you're there. How do you think that cultural thing happened for the brand?
I think a lot of it comes from Mike, the founder, and what he wanted to do, and always strive to not be like a typical chain restaurant. And we have 90 locations. Every Torchy's location is unique from a design standpoint. Now the back of the house there's identical, if not very similar from location to location, but the front of the house is different. And I mean, different, not like, oh, we put the local high school poster up. No, everyone has a different and unique design. We work with a suite of architects and designers to make sure that everyone is unique. And so we want, when I tell people that Torchy's has 90 restaurants and they go, oh, I thought you guys had like 10. I love that. Like we want to make sure that we hold on to that, that
Mhm.
kind of small chain nature. And I think the other piece is
Mhm.
just the influence of Austin. Austin is such a
Mhm.
great city and unique and quirky and has all this great culture and history like that. So,
Mhm.
I think Mike really wanted to do that. And as we continue to build the brand, we want to continue to do that and do things that are fun and irreverent
Mhm.
and not your traditional restaurant playbook.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to approach it. I actually had the pleasure of interviewing Lynn Blashford, the CMO of White Castle, the other day, and they only have 350 stores. They are the first company that did fast food hamburgers, and they're 100 years old, and they've taken this slow growth approach. But you can see, I mean, there was a movie named after it. The
Mhm.
way that it fits into culture is, it's that kind of that scarcity is what makes it exciting, makes it like FOMO versus McDonald's is so ubiquitous, you can find that like anywhere.
Right. I mean, I love that our South Congress location in Austin. We joked that we should put a bellhop in there because you see so many people with luggage. It's either their first stop when they've flown in from the airport or their last stop on their way to the airport. And TSA has told us that queso is confiscated quite often at security, and that's awesome. But we love that. Yeah, we'd love to be everywhere, but Torchy's isn't a brand that's
Yeah.
going to be like McDonald's or, we're not going to
Mhm.
have tens of thousands of locations. It's just not who we are. And there is a bit of a scarcity aspect to it, but we just think that would be really hard for us to keep this, the damn good experience and make sure that
Mhm.
food is of damn good quality if we had that many locations.
And are you guys a are they all company owned, or do you guys license out stores? How does that work?
No, all company owned, and that's
Okay.
that's our plan. And again, it's we've nothing against the franchise
Mhm.
method. Myself and a lot of folks on our team have come from that world, and
Mhm.
it is great for scaling a brand and for growing exponentially really quickly.
Mhm.
We want to make sure that we have control over it, and we have what we call almost an internal franchising program. So our
Mhm.
restaurants aren't they're not run by a general manager. They're run by what we
Mhm.
call a managing partner. And
Mhm.
this person will write us a check that we put in escrow, and then they get a percentage of the operating profits on a monthly basis. So there's a real incentive for that managing partner to figure things out,
Mhm.
to do it. And we give them latitude, just like if they were a franchisee. There's guardrails, but then
Mhm.
it's up to them to kind of color between the lines and figure out what works best for their
Mhm.
particular restaurant. And
Mhm.
it's been really successful, and it's a great model. And I think having this model lets us see that we can grow the way we want to without having to
Mhm.
go that franchise route.
I love it. I think it's so much better for authenticity.
Hmm. For sure.
Uh, so it looks like you're at home, much like myself. Leads me into a good next question. Obviously, COVID has affected all businesses. I'd like to know how it's affected your business and how you and your team have adapted to it.
Yeah. So I'll start with the business part first. So kind of going into COVID, we were two-thirds on premise, one-third off premise. So and with our store volumes, that one-third off premise was pretty healthy. I mean, it's bigger than a lot that our off premise volume was bigger than a lot of average unit volumes for some QSR concepts. So
Mhm.
we were pretty adept at doing the offsite piece, and we had started to imagine a world that could be 50-50, because if you go back and you just look at the trends of, all right, it's super easy to order online from a computer, from your phone, the rise of delivery. It's like, all right, this two-thirds one-third is probably going to start shifting. And then COVID happened, and it shifted overnight, to like
Mhm.
95.5. So we had already started doing some work around curbside, and getting that. And so we were fortunate enough, again, with the managing partner system. And I give so much credit to those men and women because they just figured it out. We had dining rooms that were closed. So curbside can now become, let's pull a cash register out to the curb, string some Cat 5 across an empty dining room, and voila, you've got curbside or a drive-through overnight. And so we figured that piece out. We rebuilt our online ordering platform, you know, really focused on the to-go experience, because lot of people still felt comfortable coming in and picking up to go and are, either contactless or, just leave it there and grab it, or grab it from our cashier. So we just kind of pivoted to that, and also launched some new menu items. One called Family Packs, which is basically deconstructed tacos, gives you a pound of a protein, whether it's chicken, beef, pork, whatever it is. And then you have the tortillas, and you can assemble the tacos at home. And it was a nice value, as well as a great kind of answer to the pandemic. And we've continued that. We haven't stopped selling them. They still sell really well. To go alcohol was a nice win for all restaurateurs in the states that allowed it. It's nice that in Texas that is now the law, which is great.
Awesome.
Sampled that myself yesterday. It works very well. But I think, it was just great work by our operations partners to really work collaboratively with all of us from the marketing standpoint, the innovation standpoint, and just come together and figure these things out and make sure that we were meeting the needs of our guests, however they wanted to use us during the pandemic.
Well, obviously the way that we work, the way we work in general has changed dramatically over this time. I don't know how many people that you guys have in your office, but now with everybody spread apart, how have you found that as an experience in working together? And do you see, this approach that we have now continuing on into the future for Torchy's?
Yeah, I think for us, I would say team wise and kind of culturally wise, I don't think we've missed a beat. I think from a productivity standpoint, we obviously missed the interaction and the water cooler talk, but productivity wise, we haven't missed a beat, and we will move kind of back, like many companies, to a bit of a hybrid setup. So the requirement won't be for everyone to be in the office every single day, obviously for team meetings and things like that. But our team members have found a real benefit to working from home on certain days when they need to be heads down, getting something done, and not deal with the hassle of commute. And people have kids and lives and loved ones they need to take care of and be with. And so we think it's great. And, I think what I've taken away as a leader, and something that I'm still trying to get right, is just creating reasons to be together, even if it's virtually, or, now that things are relaxing back in the real world. So whether that's, our team, we do 3 times a week stand up, just to get everybody together. Sometimes the actual business topics are like 30 seconds, but it's just a nice chance to catch up and see how everyone's doing with their kids and families and other events. And then just trying to create those events in the real world, like getting together for a drink after work, or, meeting for lunch or something like that.
Are you guys back to office yet at all?
We have technically never really closed our office. It's stayed open. But I would say, the vast majority of people have been remote, and we're slowly starting to see, like I was in there Thursday, and outside of some like town hall meetings, it's the most people I've seen in there. We probably had about 10 or 15. So I think it's slowly going. It seems like a lot of companies are using Labor Day as kind of that line in the sand when things will kind of get back to quasi normal, and we're following suit.
Yeah. Are you guys planning corporate get-togethers? Are you guys going to bring the teammates together in person in the near future?
Yeah, we're going to have a couple things, and just kind of probably more team by team basis, and just getting everybody together, I think is good. But, and on the same token, we've not necessarily marketing, but organizationally, we've been hiring people located nowhere near Texas, Portland, Oregon, Madison, Wisconsin. So they're working remotely, and the teams are thriving and doing just fine. So I think it's I don't know, I feel like COVID kind of gave everyone the license to test this, that everyone said in theory would work. And, I get it. It's not for every business and every industry, but for us, it seems to be working well.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate. We have about 140 people now, and we hired 70 in the pandemic, and they are all over the country. And even my brother, who we have the company, me and my brother, he actually moved to Miami, and We got rid of we had a Beverly Hills office that had about 60 people in it. So
Mhm.
yeah, we don't have that anymore. So it's a brave new world, and it's going to be interesting to see. But I agree. I think the hybrid model is probably the smart way to go. I think you learn too that you know, the hustle and bustle of getting ready to go to work every day, the amount of time it takes you to get ready, to get to the office, to get back, all of that time you have back in, your pocket now. And I just see, especially with companies that are cohesive already, that there's just that higher level of productivity, and that we're using those hours either to work more, work harder, or just to like have a better quality of life. So I think, yeah, that's a big lesson learned in this whole
Yeah.
process.
I mean, I think definitely I just see, you know, working maybe longer into the day because you don't have to plan for that
Mhm,
45, 60-minute commute or, um, yeah, which
mhm.
has a negative effect as well when you're, sitting there at your computer and realize it's 11 o'clock at night and you should probably go to bed. But I think it's just trade-offs, and it's like I said, it
Mhm.
doesn't work for every, or it's not going to work for every company. But I think this hybrid model is going to be pretty interesting to see play out over the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the pandemic's effect on the business and some of the different things that happened. Obviously the restaurant business grinded to a halt, and then food delivery services became an essential lifeline to your business. Tell us about the experience in growing that channel.
Yeah, so we have an exclusive partnership with DoorDash. They've been an amazing partner since we got in the delivery space, kind of the whole system, probably March of 19.
Mhm,
And we just chose to go the exclusive route with DoorDash because
mhm,
one, it's like one partner to deal with, and we just felt like it was easier. And there's obviously some financial benefit of that as well. But they've been a
mhm,
great partner, so they were incredibly helpful and kind of in the trenches with us when they were experiencing obviously some pretty phenomenal demand as well. So they've
mhm,
they've been a great partner, and I think like I said, we were already pretty well positioned for that off-premise business. It shifted a little
mhm,
bit and more went to the delivery channel. But we quickly saw the takeout channel continue to kind of come back week after week.
mhm,
Going back a year ago, as people were like, okay, I kind of know the boundaries now, and as long as I'm masked up
mhm,
and doing this, I'll feel comfortable going and picking up takeout. So we've really just focused on making the delivery channel work better, making it easier for dashers to get in and out of our restaurants, and then B, making it easier for our guests if they chose pickup, just making it easier for them to get in and out. And again, that's like contactless. We've started
mhm,
testing curbside. We put curbside in the height of the pandemic, we had it in pretty much all of our locations. But as business has flowed back to some retail locations, different landlords have said, okay, those 7 spaces you had for curbside, we need to peel some of those back. So we continue to build on that, make it better. How do we integrate it with our digital experiences in a more meaningful way? So curbside, takeout, and the delivery channel have really been the lifeblood for us. That's starting to shift now as people are feeling more comfortable coming back, but that was pretty key over the last 12 months.
And does DoorDash, did you guys have that exclusive partnership in place previous to this, or was this
Yeah.
a product of, okay.
Yeah. We went live on just delivery. So we were
Mhm,
probably a little later to the delivery game. We went live with DoorDash in March of 19.
mhm.
And we've been exclusive with those guys from day one.
Oh, that's great. And I've noticed that a lot of food QSR companies typically have a module within it where you do the pickup orders through that as well. Do you guys do that exclusively through them as well?
Yeah, we have, so you can order through DoorDash and pick up at our stores.
Mhm,
We also offer delivery, Torchy's delivery,
mhm,
which is then powered by DoorDash. We're a restaurant company. We're not a
mhm.
technology company. We joke internally, we're not confused. We're a
Yeah.
restaurant company. We use technology to enable our guest experience and make it better.
Mhm, mhm,
So we have delivery through DoorDash through their app and
mhm.
marketplace, but also we have delivery through our channels, which is then powered by DoorDash.
Nice, very smart. Um, So, on a similar topic, along with food delivery services, the ghost kitchen model has accelerated greatly alongside food delivery services. It's gone from small cottage industry to big business in a matter of months. What's your opinion of the ghost kitchen model, and where do you think its place is in the overall food delivery model?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how it's grown, and we have recently opened. I mentioned earlier we have a digital kitchen in Columbus, Ohio. So
Hmm.
that's our first one. We do not have a brick and mortar location in Columbus, which is why we chose that market. We wanted to see how it would work, and we're learning a ton. We wanted to get our hands dirty. It's a fascinating concept how it's growing, and you see all these great success stories and read about it. And we could model it out and talk about it all we want, but until we actually like did one, got into it, saw the
Hmm.
pros, saw the cons, saw how it actually worked, we weren't going
Hmm.
to know. So we've been really pleased with how it's done so far. And I think we're kind of, it's still early days in that. We've only been open about 6-8 weeks. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
yeah, we're kind of just watching it, and we'll
Hmm.
see how it goes and see what happens from there. But I mean, I think we see it as there's some potential applications for it. We have a lot of
Hmm.
stores that are really busy, and could a ghost kitchen potentially offset some of that delivery business.
Nice.
Um, our challenge is, unlike a lot of kind of traditional restaurants, we're not super dense because we only have 90 or so locations, so we're fairly spread
Hmm.
out geographically. So that
Hmm.
makes it a little more challenging. But I think it's a really interesting space, and we're just trying to soak up and learn as much as we can about it with our one location.
And I'd imagine from a capital upstart perspective, it's got to be significantly less expensive to be able to do this. Do you envision a world where you guys could expand a lot faster around the country in using this model?
I think too early to say, just because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's early days for us. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the significantly less capital investment on a ghost kitchen is super attractive. It's Torchy's works really well for delivery, but
Mm-hmm.
we think the prefer not necessarily the preferred, but just a better experience is coming into our locations and letting us treat you. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason we refer to people as a guest is because we want our team members to think about them the same way as if they were a guest in their home. So
Mm-hmm.
hospitality, we talk about damn good hospitality. That's a
Mm-hmm.
great Torchy's experience. And
Mm-hmm.
this isn't a Torchy's issue. This is just a restaurant food in general issue.
Mm-hmm.
The quality is always better at the restaurant than delivery, just because it doesn't have travel time, it doesn't have additional packaging, et cetera. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the ideal Torchy's experience. But we understand people, maybe they don't feel safe coming back to a restaurant, maybe they just
Mm-hmm.
that night don't want to. So we need to be able to meet them wherever they are. So we're absolutely into that space, and we'll see how the ghost kitchen intersects with that down the road.
Mm-hmm. Has there ever been talk of a grocery store product, much like I think I was thinking of White Castle for this, that's
Mhm.
grown into a huge hub of their business. Has that ever been broached? Do you know if that's ever been a conversation?
It's been a conversation, and we've actually done it. We have
Oh, cool.
a queso product, a refrigerated queso product that is currently available. We started a test back late last year. It's in
Hmm.
about 50 to 60 Whole Foods, kind of in our footprint markets,
Nice.
and looking to build upon that. So we have our queso and also
Hmm.
our Diablo sauce, which is a product we've sold in our restaurant for years, but now we're
Hmm.
making it available through that retail channel in those same
Hmm.
locations. So
I
yeah,
think that's.
again, early days in that as well,
Hmm.
but really excited about what we've seen.
Hmm.
And it's a great way,
Hmm.
as we've shipped product to people, it's a great way to
Hmm.
kind of take Torchies to places where we don't have a brick and mortar location.
Yeah, no, I love that because I think you guys have such a cool brand, and I think seeing that in the grocery store, especially in it's not just like your standard grocery store. This is sort of an elite grocery store, so it really positions the brand as a premium, can't get it everywhere sort of offering. I love that.
And it's also, as I've seen from a previous life, it allows you to get the taste profile to guests in markets where maybe the brand isn't yet. So if pick a market, and Torchy's case, it starts to show up at retail and people can go get that and taste it. It introduces them to the brand and can introduce them to the taste profile of our queso. And so then there is some excitement and just some awareness when we do finally enter that market.
Yeah, gotcha. So delivery is clearly a massive channel in the space. What other channels have you guys prioritized in the last 12 months? And has your approach to digital and social changed? If so, what ways?
Yeah, I think on the digital side, it's really been about just making it easy. So like I mentioned, we rebuilt our online ordering platform. Just how do we make it super simple to order? We've launched a mobile app, same thing, super simple, very utilitarian. Like, we wanted to make you be able to order really quickly. And like I mentioned earlier, just the takeout experience, because it's still a big part of our business. So we've really prioritized that channel. We've also prioritized, when we started this months ago, but knowing that there would be a light at the end of this tunnel, and we're starting to see it now when people are comfortable coming back. So how do we make sure that we are sending that message? And this carries through to the social piece as well. What we're doing to ensure that you're safe when you come in our restaurants, that we're being responsible about, mask where it's required, cleanliness, you name it, all the things that we've all come to know and love over the last kind of 15 months, that we're delivering that message. And then from a social standpoint, and that's our key messaging platform. We don't do a lot of, traditional TV, radio type thing. So again, just messaging, we can, however you want to use this, we're here for you. And the safety standpoint. And then, now that's starting to shift a little bit to, all right, wouldn't a margarita on the patio be pretty awesome right now, and kind of get back out. And so leaving some of that safety messaging back and shifting more to kind of that on-site dining experience.
Very cool. Well, me being the influential guy, I had to ask you something about influencers. Tell us a little bit about what Torchys does with influencers and how they fit into your digital media mix.
Yeah, they're a growing part of what we do, and we do it more on a bit of a local kind of micro influencer approach, especially as we go into newer markets. So we'll reach out and connect with the some of the top kind of micro influencers in that community, and get them to some pre-opening activities. Especially as we think about letting people know about the food who maybe aren't familiar with the Torchys brand, and also with our margaritas. So those are two of the big areas that we focus on with influencers, and really just focus on that kind of micro level targeting.
Gotcha. Have you guys always had liquor license to be able to do margaritas?
So we have not in the food trailer back in the day, and some of our, maybe within the first 10 locations, maybe have only like beer license, or can do beer and premium margaritas. But I'd say after like location number 10, we've built a bar at the restaurant. So it's great because it's a bit of the theater with the margaritas, which is awesome. But it's also, Torchy's as a concept is, as we talk about however people want to use this, we're a limited service concept. Unless you go to the bar, then it's basically full serve. You go sit at the bar, you can order your cocktail, order your food, and it gets brought to you, kind of in a traditional full service model. But yeah, we think the margaritas, along with the queso and the trailer park taco, are kind of the three signature Torchy's must-haves upon any visit.
Yeah, no, and I think tacos infinitely go better with margaritas. So
that's scientifically proven.
Exactly, scientifically proven. And I'm sure it's a huge additional revenue driver to be able to, in a QSR sort of situation, be able to bring in liquor, even if in a limited capacity like that.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. And I think, it's a, and a margarita is what makes us unique. Like, we're not, the world doesn't need another place to sell beer. There's plenty of those. We have it, and it's it's a part of our mix. But we think the margarita is such a very uniquely Torchy's experience. And I'm biased, of course, but I think our margarita tastes better than anyone. So it's a great compliment to our awesome food.
Is there a variety of margaritas that you sell, or is it just the margarita?
We have margarita, but then we'll have kind of some more premium margaritas, and we'll do some things. We don't do it for every month, but you know, Torchy's has a taco of the month that we do every month, but occasionally we'll do a drink of the month. And so like this month, it's called the Ranch Party, which is our take on the Texas traditional ranch water, which is becoming really popular. And we've done different variations of margaritas for our drink of the month before. So we like to drive the innovation both on the food and beverage side.
Fun. QSR and really like the whole restaurant industry is in such a historic time. Broadly speaking, what do you think the next 2 years will look like in the space, and how does Torchy's plan? What does Torchy's plan to meet, you know, the challenge?
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of the shakeout of, you know, how does, you know, and I caught the beginning of the panel before. It's like, how do consumers' habits change, and how are they different? You know, if you're not working from home, I mean, if you are working from home, you're not eating lunch with your buddies at work out in the office. So how do we adjust for that? And I think, you know, just focus on making Torchy super easy to use, however you want to use us, making sure our digital products are keeping up with trends. And, you know, I'll be watching like, the last mile stuff, like how do you get product from your restaurant to a consumer or to an office or something like that.
Very cool. Well, this went by in like a flash of an eye. Andrea's like the Oscar playoff music.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. I really enjoyed talking to you as always. Looking forward to hopefully getting down to Austin and sharing some Torchies with you in the near future.
Let's do it. Thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much, Scott and Chris.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. Scott, I have to say, I love the term craft casual.